Closing the door of curiosity. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So curiosity, this is what killed the cat. This is what you probably were experiencing post-relationship, definitely when you were in the relationship. And the curiosity, once you get the wisdom, it's something you should no longer have. Meaning, you need to get off the radar of the narcissist. You need to go no contact. You need to block that person, delete them, remove them and all flying monkeys and people associated with them. If you can't do it today, I understand. This is a journey. It's a marathon. It is not a sprint. All of our situations and circumstances are unique to ourselves, yet they all include toxicity, manipulation, narcissism, and being misdirected, misrepresentation, and misconduct on the behalf of the narcissist. Once the relationship is over, you have a long hill to climb, a mountain, if you will. That's what I call eventually arriving at the mountaintop, the pinnacle of indifference. One thing you'll have to do is figure out what narcissism is. 2, you'll have to put yourself back together. 3, you'll have to realize that not everything is how it appears to be on this planet. And 4, you'll have to realize that yes, you were targeted. Yes, you were taken advantage of. Yes, you were groomed, you were tricked, you were trapped, you were manipulated. And that for a period of time, you were curious as to if the narcissist ever loved you. Did they care about you? Did they really do all those things? Where they were when they weren't with you? Why they behaved certain ways? Why sometimes they were super excited and other times they were dragging you down into the pits of hell? Well, now you're understanding so much more about narcissism. You have learned, or you're learning, the glossary in the narcissistic abusive cycle, and you're learning the definitions. Example, what is triangulation? What is gaslighting? What is mirroring? What is the smear campaign? What is financial abuse, and more? You're learning these and you're coupling those with your real life experiences, and that equals wisdom. This is a newfound wisdom you've acquired. You didn't get this from a book. You didn't get it from watching a video. You didn't get it from your best friend telling you, oh yeah, you're in a toxic relationship. You got it from practicing radical acceptance and understanding that that person you're considering, A, they didn't ever love you. B, they can't love anybody. C, they don't care about one person on the planet other than themselves. And D, they tricked you and trapped you and manipulated you. When you're in the relationship, you were always wondering where they were, who they were with, why they weren't answering your texts, why they were walking 40 feet in front of you, why they would be hanging up on you, why they would be smearing your name or not being supporting you, why they wouldn't be introducing you to complete strangers that they seemed a little too close to, why they wanted you to change your appearance, why they changed their appearance, why they didn't want you to talk to their sisters, why they excluded you from certain events, why they didn't celebrate your birthday, why they didn't get you a gift on Christmas or some special occasion, why you always went to their restaurants and you had to pay for the bill, why you always had to drive them, why you became the unpaid helper, the walking apology, the sounding board, the cook, the cleaner, the errand person. You were wondering all these things. Again, you didn't have the wisdom. You didn't know that toxicity had 2 legs and it walked and talked just like you. You didn't know that a person could talk out of both sides of their mouth. You didn't realize that another person could actually have disdain for you, be envious of you, be jealous of you, yet mimic you and copy you and steal your ideas, your hopes, your dreams, your goals, your aspirations, and use them for themselves. Well, that's what the narcissist did. And they're doing it right now if they're still out on the planet gallivanting the globe, because they're looking for new supply sources, and the narcissist is always looking to improve their circumstances, which include but are not limited to their living arrangements, the car they drive, the watch they have, how many followers they have, how many people are calling their phone or blowing up their phone, how many phones they have, what type of phone it is, what year it was, what model it was. You see, the narcissist is in competition with everybody, and they were in competition with you from the minute you met them until the minute you got the wisdom, the minute you got the light bulb moments and you cracked the code and you found that needle in a haystack, like all the beautiful needles behind me from the pine trees, and you realized that, wait, this person wasn't who they claimed to be. They were a wolf in sheep's clothing. They were punishing me. They were disrespecting me. They were treating me improperly. They were abusing me, manipulating me. They were trapping me. They kept on future faking me. And the whole time they were blaming me and telling me I had to do more to stay in the relationship. Well, that's what the narcissist does. But again, you didn't know this back then. Now you understand it, or you're learning it. So when you close the door of curiosity, what that means is when you're healing, and this will happen if it hasn't already, there will be a point in time when you finally figure out that not only do you not want to know about them, but that if you did know about them, it wouldn't benefit you. Now, again, this is usually when you're on the healing path. It's usually when you've done a very deep dive on the healing part of yourself and you understand what toxicity is. This isn't going to happen overnight. And if you've already closed the door of curiosity on the narcissist, you really should drop comments below and pay it forward to those people who may not get the message. But as you're healing, you realize that you shouldn't know anything about them, and you don't want to know anything about them for multiple reasons. One is because you don't want to be experiencing FOMO, fear of missing out. Two is because you realize that every part of the relationship you were in, it was a house of cards. It was built on quicksand, and it was going to erode just like every sandcastle does on any beach in any part of the ocean here on the planet. The next thing you realized is that the more you knew about them, the more you were staying stuck, wondering, how could they do this to me? How come they're living their best life? How come they just got remarried for the 9th time? How come the new supply is so much younger than me? How come they did this, that? Well, then eventually you realize that what you're doing is you're not helping your healing path out. You're not helping yourself. So when you close that door of curiosity, that's when you really begin to elevate and you really begin to get strong. Now, this is just one journey, or one part of the journey. This is not the answer, it's not the cure, but it's a pivotal part of the journey when you finally realize that, yeah, blocking the narcissist will benefit you. Going no contact will definitely benefit you. And not knowing their whereabouts, who they're with, what they're doing, or anything about them will greatly benefit you. If you flip it for a moment, you have to remember also, the less the narcissist knows about you, the better off you are. Meaning, they shouldn't know how you're looking, what your hair color is, who you're dating, what the latest book you've read, the latest book you've written. They shouldn't know about your new hobbies, who you're building relationships with, if you've fallen in love again, if you've just bought your 3rd beach property, or if you just finally bought the car of your dreams, or if you just spent money on yourself and traveled all over the world. They shouldn't know anything about you. Remember, less is more when you are healing from the narcissist. The less you know, the more stronger you get. Not the best English, but the more clarity arrives in your mind. And the clearer that your mind gets, the stronger you get. The stronger you get, the weaker they get, meaning the narcissist. The weaker they get, the less they matter to you, and eventually they won't mean anything other than a piece of dirt below your shoe. Now, we need dirt on the planet because dirt is what grows things and cultivates things. My reference to dirt is that the narcissist is a low vibrational creature, and they exist in the low vibrational state. And what they wanted to do was trick you and trap you and have you existing in the low vibrational state, because they didn't want your beautiful, bright, shining light to continue to shine. They didn't want you to break the trauma bond. They didn't want you to heal. They did not want you to see behind the mask, and they certainly didn't want you to put yourself back together. What the narcissist did want, they wanted you to be curious. What the narcissist did want is they wanted you peeking on their social media. What the narcissist did want is they wanted you driving by their house and seeing if lights were on or not. What the narcissist did want is for you to see who's in their driveway, which cars are in their driveway. What the narcissist did want is to still live in your mind rent-free. Now, you must remember something. Anything the narcissist wants for you, it's not good. It benefits them. It traps you. It hurts you. It harms you. So now understand, as the thumbnail mentions, when you close the door on curiosity, what that means is you finally get the message. Yes, that person is who you thought they were. Yes, that relationship wasn't what you thought it was. It was 1,000 times worse. Yes, that was the relationship from hell. Yes, that relationship almost took you off of this planet called Earth. Yes, you gave everything and more to a fault, and there was no more left for you to give, because if you could have given it, you would have given it. Yes, the narcissist took the best of you and gave you absolutely zero in return. Yes, the narcissist can't love, they have no empathy, and all they want to do is continue to twist the narrative to anybody who will listen to them. Yes, the narcissist is always performing for audiences of people, just like an actor in Hollywood. The actor in Hollywood performs on a play or on a movie or a sitcom or on a documentary or whatever it is. I mean, parts of documentaries, I suppose you could say, that are reenactments. But those people are being paid. They're actors. The narcissist gets paid by you, by your supply, by you doing everything for them. And the narcissist was acting so they could extract all of your resources from you. Play that part of the video, play it a few times. The narcissist knew what they were doing. So when you are curious, this is when you were in the relationship, and certainly post in the early days, when you're curious as to what's going on, what you're doing is you're wondering in your mind if that relationship is salvageable. Can it be fixed? Can it be repaired? Well, you didn't know back then, but you do now, that that relationship would never be repaired. It was unfixable, and it would never ever be able to be put back, because the beginning of that relationship that you experienced, you most likely were in what is known as the euphoric stage or the love bomb stage. And that's when the narcissist was lathering you up and fake showering you with love, fake showering you with trips all over the world, even though you were paying for them. You were putting a roof over their head and you were thankful to do it, and you were raising their kids and said, thank you, may I do it again? You were doing whatever you could because you're trying to stay in an unsustainable relationship from hell. Well, now you know that, which is why once you get the wisdom, you can't unsee what you've seen. And that's when you need to close the door on curiosity. And how to do that, as I've already told you twice, I'll tell you again, it's to go no contact and block that person. Is that solution? Is that the solution? No, but it's a big part of the solution, because the less you know about them, the better off you will be. The less they know about you, the better off you will be. Now, will the narcissist still be peeking at your social media or trying to learn things about you over the time that they are still on the planet? Yeah, most likely they will. Are they going to sit there with a magnifying glass or a telescope looking at everything you're doing? Absolutely not. They're not going to do that at all. What the narcissist will do is they will use your name, whatever you did for them, to leverage that with the new supply and the new supply and the new supply. And they will say that you were either the worst person that they had ever been in a relationship, and that's probably what they'll say, or that you did so many other things, although they never gave you credit for those things, to try and leverage the new person to do what you did do for them. You see, you can't win when you're in these relationships. And what happens is, the longer you stay in them, the more toxicity you experience. The more toxicity you experience, the more trapped you get. The more trapped you get, the less you understand what is happening to you. And you continue to stay stuck in that washing machine of abuse. And that bird is loving this video right now. So having said that, and I'll get ready to close the video, is this. When you close the door on curiosity, it means that you've learned as much as you need to learn about that person you're considering. You now know what narcissism is. You now know what the definitions are in the glossary. You now understand what has happened to you. You now know your reality. You've now broken the ties, the emotional, the financial, the physical, and the spiritual tie from the narcissist, and you've healed, or you're healing. As you do that, you begin to see things really clearly, and you begin to really understand that you are fortunate and you should be grateful to be out of that relationship. Now, do I wish you went through it? No, I don't. Do I wish I went through it? Absolutely not. But the reality is, we went through it. And now that we're out, we need to focus on ourselves. Remember, we come first, second, and third. We are the priority. You should play that part of the video and play it a few times. What that means is, you've now been in a relationship that very few people will ever go through. Fewer will ever be able to wrap their head around, and even fewer will heal from. That's what I've done, and that's what I do every single day when I provide my one-on-one sessions. And that's why I create videos every single day, to pay it forward for those people who don't even know that they need help, or for those people who continue to come back and watch the videos to keep their cup full. Remember, at one point, we were all what is known as the new supply. We were all the next new shiny object. We were the next person who would be taken advantage of, manipulated, tricked, trapped, blamed, and taken the fall for anything we did or didn't do in the relationship. That's why the narcissist is loyal to nobody. They betray everybody. They break anyone's heart if you have one, and they abuse anybody they possibly can and get too close to, which is why the narcissist can never change. The only thing they can do is shift the mask they're wearing to have the mask that they wear fit for whatever audience they're performing for. I've said that for years in videos, and I just said it again. So before I close the video, you need to understand something, that when you close the door on curiosity, or on the curiosity, what that means is, you don't want to know anything about them. Not one thing. It's not going to benefit you. You don't want to see them. You don't want to see a picture of them. You don't want to read an old email. You don't want to look at a picture. You don't want anyone to bring up their name. The past is the past. You need to leave it in the past. You need to take those lifelong learning lessons from the past. You need to not predict the future. And you need to live in the present moment. That's something the narcissist can't do, and they don't want you to do. What the narcissist wants you to do is still be curious, still peeking on their social media, still wondering and blaming yourself why the new supply has stayed with them for 2, 3, 15 years, and why you were only with them for 12 years. The narcissist wants you wondering and questioning yourself. Did you do enough? Could you have done more? Should you have done more? If only this, if you didn't do that. This is what the narcissist wants. That's why you need to remember, like I shared with you earlier, if the narcissist is trying to rear their ugly head and encroach on your proximity or your energy field, it will never be good for you. It's never been good for you in the history of humanity since you've been born, and it hasn't been for all the other people that were on the planet long before us, and it won't be for anybody in the future. The narcissist is a shapeshifter. They're a dark energy source, and all they want to do is slither their way through life, extracting resources from people. Then they want to crumble those people up, throw them away in the freeway, discard them, if you will, and they are really hoping that that person will never put themselves back together. Well, that's what had happened in the past with so many people. But then again, you found my channel, and I put myself back together against all odds during a pandemic. If I did it, you can do it. You need to believe in yourself the way I believe in you. You need to understand that you're not most people. You're different. You're resilient. You are fortunate. You're full of strength, courage, commitment. You're full of purpose, direction, and spirituality. These are all things the narcissist doesn't know anything about, but they know how to take them from people. That's why you need to understand that when you close the door on curiosity, that's a big step in the healing path. When you finally go no contact, that's another big step. When you flat out don't care about where the narcissist is, if they just won $1 million or if they just had a physical challenge, whatever it is, that's when you're in a good spot. Now again, before I close the video, I don't wish ill will upon anybody. I'm not going to start now. But the point for the last thing I shared with you is when you're indifferent about people, specifically I'm referring to the narcissist, whatever happens to them happens to them. It has nothing to do with you. They took their best shots at you and they tried to destroy your life and you, but they couldn't do it. They failed miserably. That's why once you really close the door of curiosity, you say to yourself, yeah, I was different back then. I was naive, I was vulnerable, I was in love or loving, I was giving to a fault, I was too committed, I was an open book, I wore my heart on a sleeve, and that didn't help me out. What it did is it just fed this beast, this behemoth, this juggernaut, the dark energy force called the narcissist. It just gave them information and a direct pipeline to me so they could destroy my life. Well, funny thing happened along the way. They didn't destroy your life. They tried. They came close, but they failed. That's why you're still here, and that's why you're getting stronger. And that's why when you close the door on curiosity, that means you've known or learned as much as you need to know. Whatever happens in the future doesn't matter any longer, because the narcissist will just still continue to be stuck in that loop of manipulation, playing the victim card, playing the holier than thou card, playing the biblical verses and the scriptures, playing that it was all your fault and everything. When you finally give it no attention, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't, because the narcissist is becoming more and more exposed all over the planet every single day. And again, I'm not saying for you to expose the narcissist. That's what you shouldn't be doing. What you should be doing is closing the chapter of the book, I'm the Narcissist, super gluing it, gorilla gluing it, airtight gluing it, so it will never be reopened again. And you need to get as far away from the narcissist as fast as you possibly can, because these people don't change. They only deteriorate, and they want to take anybody down in the sinking ship, which is called their life, with them if they can do that. That's why once you get out, you need to stay out. So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning. No matter where you are on the planet, you are not alone. I love you all, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. And we had a couple visitors there, a couple little birds saying hello. Probably 3 little birds, like Bob Marley's song, one of the best songs of all time. 3 little birds by my doorstep. Little Bob Marley for you. You should play it. It's a great song, inspirational song, and one of my favorite musicians of all time. Having said all these things, you need to realize and recognize one thing, that if where you are is where you want to be, stay there. Stay in the high vibrational state. If where you are is not where you want to be, there is work to be done. If that is you, the second one, you're not quite where you want to be, I'm talking about on the healing path, consider what I shared with you. Close the door of curiosity. The less you know about the person, the better off you will be. The better off you will be, the stronger you will get, and the stronger you will get, the more you will elevate. Leave the narcissist in the past and begin today. If not now, when? I love you all. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Bye. I hope you liked the Bob Marley. It was great.